ever used to swim in the river when you were a child? Well, I used to swim in the river when I was a child. And in most of the cases, this river water is also polluted. It's plenty of sediments. It's much fun to swim in the river, but you can imagine all kinds of health risks associated when the river is not clean. In Rwanda, we are facing the problems of river sedimentation. And this sedimentation is affecting many ecosystem services that we get from the river. For instance, when the river is polluted, when the river is plenty of sediments, the amount of hydropower production is interrupted, is reduced. And the people who use this river for domestic use, for drinking, for irrigation and agriculture, they are also affected. So in my organization, we try to identify the sources of sedimentation in the river, basically because this sedimentation is happening as a result of erosion in the mountains when there is heavy rainfall, and these mountains are not protected against erosion. How do we do that? We use a very scientific tool which is called sediment fingerprinting. Sediment fingerprinting is a very interesting tool because it's a novel technique which involves collection of the soil in the upstream and the collection of sediments in the catchment. And at the end of the day, the tool allows linking the sediments found in the river and where they come from, their origin within a catchment. So we have already collected the soil and we trapped the sediments at different locations in looking at the hydrological networks, and we collected the soils looking at the geological units. Both these samples from the field, they go through the laboratory analysis, but also the modeling which produces the erosion hotspot map. So this erosion hotspot map is a final product of the sediment fingerprinting, and it shows the areas within a catchment where different sources of sediments come from. So it's a very important technique because it allows to first identify the problem and then later propose different interventions for controlling the movement of the soil into the rivers. In all of these processes, we engage the local communities, the farmers, the miners, because these people are the ones which basically contribute to different land uses in the catchment, and these land uses, mostly unsustainable farming and mining, do contribute in high amounts of sediments in the river under heavy rainfall. So we engage these people. It's very important to engage the locals because these people, they are also the beneficiaries of the services from the river, including irrigation, fishing, and agriculture. So you can really imagine how it's important to really find these sources of sedimentation in the river.